Hello and welcome to 52 Pickup, a podcast about the greatest comic you've never heard of for the second to last time, barring any specials we've got coming up.
Yeah, I hope by this point you've heard of this comic book.
I am professional comic book expert Alex Jaffe. Joining me, as always, is the elusive Gita Jackson.
I am elusive. That's so true. It's not good, but it is the way that I am. I've just now that I can name what the thing is that I'm feeling, I didn't know how to call it overstimulation before I realized I was on the autism spectrum and also have ADHD. I was just I got too many text messages. I can't think about any of these right now. But now I know that I can go off, become less stimulated, and then just respond to everybody at once. And that's been really helpful for my mental health. But I'm elusive. I'm quite sleepy today. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a sleepy cat. I cannot wait to be in my bed.
Well,
after this
you
recording.
might be sleepy, but this issue is throttling us towards the end. We got a lot of work to wrap up here.
You wonder what they're gonna do after World War III in the next couple of issues, and then you read those next couple of issues, and you're like, oh fuck, hell yeah.
Oh, we on that shit. Yeah. As much as I love John Ostrander, it is good to be back with our regular guys.
Yeah. The difference in quality, again, man. Ostrander really saved that World War III little miniseries, because the difference in quality of people who are really good at writing comics, writing things that they really want to write it's really exciting. It made me feel excited to read. This issue is really great. I had a little
revelation about Keith Champagne between this last recording and this one. Back in 2017.
Oh my God, you texted me.
Back in 2017, there was this storyline in Superman where they did just straight up, what if Superman became a Yellow Lantern? And wouldn't Superman be the ultimate arbiter of instilling fear in people if he went evil? And I got so mad about that I quit reading comics for 2 months. Turns out that was a Champagne joint.
That's so funny. Guess what comics he is writing right now?
What's he writing right now?
So Stranger Things.
Yeah.
If you are still watching Stranger Things, I mean, I'm sorry. That's all I have to say.
Is that still happening? Did they do the last season of that yet?
No, the final season is about to come out.
What? Those kids are 30 now.
I know. They're fully grown adults. One of them has a child. What the fuck is happening?
That show should be taking place in the year 2000 right now.
Yes, by this point, yes, absolutely. I remember the first time I saw Stranger Things, and it was when the idea of a Netflix original television show was a novelty. It's wild how much the world has changed, and it's still somehow the 1980s.
Yeah, I just saw a great 1980s throwback movie. Have you seen Freaky Tales yet?
No, but that sounds like my
so
shit.
Good. Oh God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's got Pedro Pascal in it. It all takes place in one night in San Francisco in 1987. It feels for a moment like it's coded pro Scientology propaganda, but then it gets way too weird to be that.
Wait, Normani is in this movie?
Yeah, Normani's in this movie.
What the fuck? Okay, I have to watch this now.
Yeah.
Speaking of 80s pastiche, 80s throwbacks, with my dear friend Stella, she invited me to go to see the band Castle Rat, which is basically, it was metal with a side of musical theater. They introduced themselves as the druid and the plague doctor in a plague doctor mask, and the count, and the lead singer Riley is the rat queen. She was wearing literally a chainmail bikini, and I bought a shirt where she is riding a unicorn. It was great fun. The entire band looks like they should be spray painted on the side of a van.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This sounds a lot like the failed 1990s DC comic series Scare Tactics, where it was the Monster Squad, but they're in a punk band together.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit, yeah. No, it was, there was this whole narrative of their performance, too. They had a dancer come out who was the Rat Reaperess, who got in a sword fight with the Rat Queen, and she had to be brought back to life by the crowd, repeating a specific phrase. It was a lot of fun.
Do you think they did some A/B testing between Rat Reaper S and Rat Reaper Tricks?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope they went through
I wouldn't have been able to make that call.
Reaper Tricks is such a good... I'm going to put that one in my back pocket now.
Yeah. Hold on to that. Let's talk talent for this issue, as long as we're getting back to our regular guys.
I love the sentence in your notes. Can I just say the phrase is in your notes?
Yeah.
Art by the anti-Semitic Joe Bennett. Thank you for always standing on business.
We gotta remember, he does an okay job, but there's a reason we don't see him around anymore. We got inks by Jack Jadson, who's been on 52 for a while. Billardino Bravo, one of the many Brazilian inkers we grabbed to work on 52 as Steve Wacker was stepping out. Bunch of our usual guys to help wrap up a bunch of our storylines here that are still left over after we kicked Black Adam's ass. Starting with that glimpse into the future Animal Man got a few weeks ago of some guy hitting on his wife. And we get the big payoff here where that some guy was just some guy.
Yeah, we love that.
Where like he spied on the one panel where like if he had been looking in on that conversation 3 seconds later, she'd be like, shut the fuck up, dude.
My least favorite sitcom trick or soap opera trick of person hears the part of the conversation that would make them upset and then leaves for the part of the conversation that would make them really happy.
The That's So Raven special.
Yes. The cover for this one is another J.G. Jones classic.
Love this cover.
I think this one's great. Man, this whole issue just is just cooking with gas.
It sings.
And it's Red Tornado and a bunch of gears that are different worlds. I wonder what that means.
Yeah. It's a very artful cover as he's counting down from 52 to 48. Another little hint to what's coming. J.G. Jones is going to be one of the few people from 52 who is also involved in Countdown, and the covers that he does for that series are great.
Too bad about the rest of it.
Too bad about the interiors. I was asked recently, is Red Tornado a robot or an android or a cyborg, or what's his deal? And I feel like not enough people know that Red Tornado is actually a sentient tornado from another world who was put into a robot body by Tio Maro.
Comic books? Comic books. We love them.
He used to be an Adam Strange villain. So it's kind of weird that they never met in this series.
God, I love the sentences you get to... Okay, one of David and I's favorite Apple TV shows, Foundation. It's just full of great sentences where we would like pause the TV to just like double over in laughter. One of my favorites from this past season was, by the time I met my granddaughter, we were already the same age.
Right. The reason I do DC Action News, my other comic book podcast, is just so I could matter-of-factly say, as if I were a news broadcaster, just the insane shit that happens in DC Comics every week.
It's perfect. That's so perfect and so fun. I was so happy to be your Lois Lane. I feel like I hope I did a good job.
We will have you back the next time Lois does something crazy.
I cannot wait.
Oh, Lord. So we get past this great cover. We go back to California, where I got to ask you, how do you think Ellen knows this weird guy who's been hitting on her?
Maybe the PTA.
Yeah, maybe the PTA. Maybe
because they know, she knows his partner also and knows the gossip there. So I'm assuming PTA because she seems like she's deeply involved in your children's lives.
That makes sense. I was thinking maybe work, but then I looked into it and I remembered that she's a storyboard artist / children's picture book artist.
Yeah, so she's probably working at home on her computer.
Yeah. PTA guy, I thought maybe grief counseling for maybe there's a group of people who were affected by the crisis.
I mean, yeah, that's also very, very likely.
But she's like, fuck off. We're not the same. You literally cheated on your wife. My husband is lost in space. We are not the same.
Perfect sentence. Just a perfect sentence. Oh, man. I love this moment when we turn the page and we just get the title drop, Homecoming, which gives us a clue about what we're about to see. And then in slow motion, it feels like she turns around and she sees Buddy Baker, who always comes home. Yes, her husband always comes home.
Yeah, just glowing like Jesus. I don't know. Is that a thing from the Bible? I haven't read the New Testament.
I don't know what Jesus does, frankly. Now I'm really only familiar with the Old Testament.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm out of my. Even if it's not Christian, it feels Christian. The way she literally gets on her knees and starts like praying like Madonna.
Yeah, exactly. Tears streaming from her eyes.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
I love
it's
it.
Just this is the kind of stuff I do wish Morrison would write more.
Mhm.
They're actually really good when you get to this person to person level, just conversation stuff. The like high operatic stuff. It reminds me of the interpersonal dialogue between Damien and Dick when Dick was Batman in that Batman run, where it's like, oh, you love this like operatic high concept stuff, but honestly, you're also very good at just writing a meaningful conversation between two people.
I also really want to shout out the colors here by David Barron. The golds here are terrific.
It's beautiful.
Just bathing the family in sunlight in the middle of the night, because he got here by channeling a sun eater. So he's literally like glowing with solar radiation. It's really nice. And his son rolls up like, hey, Dad, you missed World War III.
I know. I love that too.
Did you bring us anything from space?
Just the most well-adjusted children of superheroes. I love it.
They know the deal.
God. And as we move into day 2 of this 51st week,
we get a little teaser that somebody followed Buddy here from Lady Styx's contingent. Like that we're still not rid of that plot line. There's one more.
Did you bring anything back from space? Indeed.
Yeah. Ooh, nice one. And we get this little reprise of the week 1 meeting around the memorials for Superman and Superboy, where all of the heroes show up 1 year later. And we've got Cassie mourning Ralph Dibny and being like, hey, maybe I could have been less of a dick to him.
Man, after reading Young Justice, I want to ask you about this scene, about Cassie. Like, doesn't it just make you sad that this is now the only thing about her character is her grief? Whereas before this, she had so much more going on.
I could talk for a while about the problems with John Byrne's comics, and there are many, but the way that he created Cassie Sandsmark in that series is like the DNA for how we find her in that Young Justice book. And she's just easily, outside of Wonder Woman herself, my favorite character in that entire mythology. She's just so cool.
Yeah.
And she just completely disappeared.
She's gone.
Her like Taylor Swiftification.
Yes. It's like the older she gets as a character, the writers figure out that she's a blonde girl. Right. And then the only thing they can think of is that she's a blonde girl. And what are girls like? And it's not Cassie Sandsmark. I feel like after Connor dies, the more realistic reaction from Cassie would have been anger. She is a person that is defined by being in opposition to something, in opposition to her mom, in opposition to the idea of being Wonder Girl, in opposition to everyone that doesn't want her to date Connor, in opposition to Connor himself, who can't figure out that he likes her. She is often driven to anger because anger is like where she feels comfortable. It's what drives her. Here, she's just depressed, and it just doesn't feel real to me.
You know what I would have done with Cassie in this whole 1 year later thing? We have Supergirl disappearing to the 31st century to be in Mark Waid's Legion run.
Yeah.
I think with Connor gone, she would go, fuck it, I'm Supergirl now.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. She would get his t-shirt and wear it and be like, I'm Supergirl. Fuck all of you for saying I'm not Supergirl.
Right.
Yeah, she would be mean Supergirl, and that would have been a lot of fun.
I would love to see that. That would be so fun. She'd get the black wig again.
Yes. Oh, man. She would love wearing the wig again if she had a fuck-ass. Cassie with a fuck-ass bomb, it would have been great.
Draw that fan art.
Please, God.
Here we have Donna Troy in Wonder Woman's costume trying to console her, and the actual Wonder Woman who is being eminently written by Jodi Picoult at this time. Allegedly.
Jodi Picoult's name is on that book.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say about that. No one liked this run.
Yeah, so we have a Diana working for the government, kind of spying on her old quote unquote proteges, despite the fact that Donna never really was Wonder Woman's sidekick. But we just have this kind of acknowledgement that, well, they're all here again, and it's time to get back into whatever Wonder Woman's deal is. And on the next page, we get this grand splash of everybody who is just being featured in the comics now. We got the Manhattan Guardian over there from Seven Soldiers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's nice. I will say Liberty Bell's butt just being right in the middle of the page. And it's the butt cheeks are so defined.
That is for sure a Joe Bennett staple. Like, you will recall Joe Bennett from early in the series, we often called out for drawing fully clothed women more lasciviously than nude ones.
I mean, yes. Also, Ellen Baker is wearing like a freakum dress.
Yeah, she's so stacked. What is the deal?
It's just like you can't take the horny out of the man, I guess.
We've got Martian Manhunter's new Conehead design. We've got Plastic Man. We got Dr. Midnight. We got Power Girl. We got Green Arrow. I just heard that Chris Condon's Green Arrow series is being canceled, and I'm so mad about that because this current Green Arrow run has been one of the best that he's ever had. And one of the most fun things about it is that the new Green Arrow costume design had like this bandana that he wore over the lower half of his face, so you couldn't tell Green Arrow had a goatee. Because
I mean, finally.
Yeah. Because the most famous man in Star City has that exact same goatee.
Famously the mayor for a little while, you know?
Right.
Like, damn, it's like if Eric Adams became a vigilante, but just only wore a domino mask. You'd be like, I know who that fucking guy
Eric
is.
Goddamn Adams.
That's Eric Adams. What are you doing out here, Eric Adams?
I do want to call out this little interaction of like Stargirl looking up at Power Girl. I think that's really nice.
Me too. I like that too. I mean, I just like it when she shows up.
Stargirl is great.
Stargirl is very sweet.
Yeah.
The difference between how Cassie Sandsmark is written and how Stargirl is written, I mean, it's about the talent involved, right? James Robinson cares so much about this family. He gives such a big fuck about it. And no one wants to disrespect that legacy. And it sucks that Peter David was not given that same level of respect in terms of how he characterized these characters. And you see it in the beginning of the transition of the Titans that are the Teen Titans are too old to be Teen Titans anymore. And so there was this little one-up like mini series where there was like a sort of transitional phase where the Young Justice characters clashed with the Titans, and they were trying to show, these kids are more mature, more adult now. But that just meant making them all really fucking depressed for some fucking reason. It sucks.
I will say specifically in Stargirl's case, it's not so much a James Robinson thing as a Jeff Johns thing.
Yes. He's also one of those, right?
Yeah.
He's very protective of his work.
Exactly. Courtney's like actually based on a real person. She's based on his sister who died in a plane crash. So there's a lot of preciousness understandably around Courtney as a character because she represents someone who is very important to one of the main creative voices at DC.
The Robinson element of it is like this was James Robinson's in the fiction, the chosen successor for the staff.
Right.
So there is like still some preciousness of, Starman fans know that you'll never bring him back. Like Robinson has said, that story's fucking over. He's never coming back. He's never going to be a superhero again.
He has talked about bringing him back recently.
Really? Really?
Yeah. There have been some talks about bringing him back for like a Black Label series set before the end of Starman, like a forgotten chapter.
Okay. So here's the extra adventures of him.
Exactly.
Okay. Because I was going to say, bringing him back after he retires is just, that's the whole point of the story is that he's done.
Right.
Yeah.
The most fun tie-in to Blackest Night was the Starman issue where Shade is just like, leave him alone. He's done.
Yeah, that's so true. I have actually been rereading Blackest Night, and that's what I was thinking of.
Rules.
Blackest Night's
that's Jeff. I think that might be the height of like Jeff Johns as like creative director.
I completely agree. And he knows he's fucking cooking with it too.
Right.
He writes that little letter about how he's been planning this since before the Sinestro Corps. And it's like, we can tell. And you knocked it out of the fucking park, dude.
I told you all those stories so I could tell you this one. It was very like Jeff Johns getting to do the 90s Vertigo 70 issues thing in the 2000s, which is extremely rare. We get this little acknowledgement of the Cult of Connor storyline, where Superman and Batman in their civilian guises are also here at this meeting. And Clark is like, oh, they're calling it the Church of Connell now. And it feels very like Christian youth group. I don't think it lands.
I mean, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I do always like when Bruce and Clark are hanging out together. And I like Clark's little round glasses. I think those are cute.
Where do you stand on SuperBat shipping?
I think in an ideal world, they would all be in a polycule.
What, the Trinity?
The Trinity plus the spouses.
Yeah.
I think if they were conceived from the ground up as Gen Zers, they'd all be living in like a kitchen table polycule situation. You know what I mean?
My stance on it is, on one hand, I don't like the idea that like if you hook them up, then every Batman and Superman story automatically becomes a Superman Batman story, kind of like what happened when they hooked up Superman and Wonder Woman.
Yep.
On the other hand, I think back to like the 1950s and 60s, and like World's Finest was literally a series about these two adult men raising a child together. So there is history.
Listen, it just Lois and Clark obviously are truly in love and made for each other, right? And I feel the same about, I am a Bat-Cat shipper in my heart of hearts. But I also feel like if one day Bruce went to Selena and was like, I've had fantasies about having sex with my friend, my male friend, she'd be like, hell yeah. Like, let's do it.
Right.
You know? And I don't think Clark would ever admit it. It would be more like Lois, like, while pegging him, being like, hey, so you're really weird about Bruce, huh?
Yeah, they're like scoping out Diane in literally this scene. And Clark kind of side eyes her like, I like the glasses.
I know. It looks like they're trying to get her to join the polycule. Yeah, that's what it feels like to me.
We noticed you across the bar.
Yeah, we like your vibe. She does. I have to say the costume is really cool and really hot.
Yeah, the costume is based on the one from the Denny O'Neil run from the 70s. Which everybody hated, but was a cool look. It
was a great costume. Yeah. I really do think it's great. It is very Emma Peel, The Avengers, you know? Mm-hmm. It works for me. If only it was ever paired with writing that was good.
Yeah. We cut to the other storyline that Jeff Johns has been playing with, the unstable Teen Titans lineup, and we finally get to see some of the people who will be in the 1 year later incarnation, like Kid Devil and Ravager. And I find it really funny that Rose Wilson is grousing over the fact that she's not sad enough about the deaths of Terra and Young Frankenstein, characters who, like, I don't care who they are either. It's not even the real Terra, and I've never seen Young Frankenstein before.
I am absolutely on Rose's side here.
Yeah. I am frequently on Rose's side.
Yeah,
Rose rules.
No, Rose is a really great character. Yeah. I really do like her a lot. I wanted to like the Teen Titans run that came out of this so much, and it just isn't good. It's just maudlin. It was aggravating how frequently everyone was mad at each other and could have resolved everything by having one conversation.
Some of the coolest Rose Wilson comics, I really liked Priest's 2016 Deathstroke run, the thesis of which is Deathstroke is not an anti-hero, he's just a straight up piece of shit, and the real hero of that run is his daughter.
Yep.
I also really like her in Tom Taylor's Deceased zombie comics, which are way better than I thought they would be.
I've heard those are good. Oh my God. Okay, well, I'll have to check that out.
And they get better as they go. Like,
all right.
The best part of it is a 3-issue spinoff called The Unkillables, which features Rose Wilson, Cassandra Cain, and Jason Todd protecting a school bus full of kids from zombies.
That's so smart, though.
Yes.
That's so good. Yeah. They are unkillable. That's true. Yeah.
Do Rose and Jason hook up? Of course they hook up.
Oh my God. It's messy. Messy. Yes. This knife play OTP.
Yeah, you're going to love it. But we have Kid Devil here being like, hey, I think you can give me an introduction to the Teen Titans? And that's our sign off to that Titans run. We've got Tim Drake wearing Connor's new suit in Connor's colors, very heterosexually.
Yeah. Those guys have a normal and heterosexual relationship.
Yes, a normal non-sexual relationship between
why
these
the
men.
Fujoshis went absolutely buck wild about Young Justice, because it just there's just like a lot of repressed homosexuality in that book. He loved Connor. They both love Connor.
Yeah.
And then Cassandra, of course, flies away before Tim has a chance to talk to her because she can't fucking deal with it.
A lot of people have some, like, I think legitimate grievances with Megan Fitzmartin's Young Justice miniseries around like 2022. But one of the things I really like about it is how she canonizes the fact, like, Tim is like, oh, I realized I was bisexual when I was in Young Justice because
that
of
makes
Connor.
so much sense, right? Like, it just makes so much sense.
Didn't go all the way with it, but as far as they let her, maybe a little bit more, depending who you ask. And that takes us back to the Green Lanterns with Adam Strange, who they give his eyes back to.
Yeah, okay, we're in space again.
We're back in space. We got to wrap this up.
It's the end of the space stuff, though, and it is really just a reunion scene is what this is. He's got his eyes back again. His daughter, who is on Rann, where they are, created genetic copies of her eyes, which they implanted into his face.
Sure.
Which okay, whatever. I don't know why they couldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forget it, baby. It's Rann.
Forget it, Jake.
Yeah. Yeah. It is, if you care about this character, a very sweet scene. He is reunited with his family on Rann. And you literally see them walking into the sunset and the door closes on them. Like, you don't have to care about Adam Strange anymore.
Right. Let's let the Green Lantern, like, it feels like this last scene is an acknowledgement of the fact that this entire series subplot here has been an experimentation of the idea of maybe there's other stuff in space besides the Green Lanterns. But coming back to this scene, the resolution is nope, it's just Green Lanterns.
Yeah,
I guess
it's pretty much just Green Lanterns. Don't worry about it.
Let's close the door here. Back to the core.
And this is also, it leads into on day 4 another scene in space with Lobo wrapping up the Lobo stuff. Yeah. Where you really also get, like, there's nothing to explore after they wrap this up in the way that they wrap it up. Right. They have decided after exploring space, you know what? Never mind. We don't care anymore.
Lobo doesn't have to be the Pope anymore. He was just looking for this emerald eye to literally kill the fish god he's been kowtowing to.
And the implication here in this scene is that Lobo is sick of the vow of peace that he's had to have, and now that the dolphin Pope tells him, oh, we only wanted the Eye of Ekron because it's the only thing in the universe that can kill me. And he's like, oh, it can kill you. And the implication here is that he's worshipped the space Pope and now he's just fucking sick of it.
Yeah,
he'd like to go back being the main man again. Yeah.
You can't be the main man when you're worshiping something else, you know? That's
absolutely. Then you're, by definition, the second man.
You're the supporting man.
Yeah,
you can't
absolutely.
do that. We come back to Buddy's house in California where he's having a little adult party with his friends, telling them all about his space adventures.
I love that they all have, like, champagne and coupe glasses.
Yeah.
He's telling them all, they're regaling them like you do in an adult party.
Yeah.
Again, like, this is something I think that Morrison should lean into more, is, like, these depictions of suburban life with just, like, a little bit of magical realism are always really fun. And that's what made Animal Man fun to read. They're having a normal-ass suburban party, and someone rings the doorbell. Ellen opens the door, and there's these 2 really short little alien guys, and it's just a fun scene.
Yeah. I really want to point out that first panel where we see Buddy's kids, like, in the shadows on the top of the steps watching the grown-up party.
I love that stuff. It feels so human. I love that.
What are they talking about? Dad just came back from space. He won't tell me what happened.
I've absolutely done that too. Yeah. When it's like I couldn't sleep and my parents were having a party and I would just, like, want to be close to the action because I wanted my parents' attention. God. So she opens the door and she sees these 2 little gremlins and they're like, bounty for Lady Steaks. Die, die, die. It's very 1980s Vertigo stuff. Yeah. It's really cute.
And they're immediately incinerated by a meteoric starfire who just arrives on the scene and drops off Buddy's costume.
Most of what happens here, except for the last 2 panels, where for some reason they keep Ellen says, did Roger hire a stripper? And then Buddy defends her, and then his son is like, she's like E.T. with double D's. I just want to read this quote from John Berger's Ways of Seeing, which is like baby's first feminist critique of art, essentially. I read this in college, and it's been like a foundational text in my criticism for a very long time. You painted a woman naked because you enjoyed looking at her. Put a mirror in her hand and you called the painting vanity, thus morally condemning the woman whose nakedness you had depicted for your own pleasure. Yeah, there is, I believe, around when this issue came out, or maybe at the beginning of 52, Corey had a costume redesign that did make it is literally just a leotard, but with the entire middle portion cut out. Yeah. Like, she's as nude as she could possibly be. Yeah. And this is as nude as her costume gets for a really long time. Yeah. I believe this was a redesign and it was concurrent. So you can read it as like Morrison or one of the other writers being like, this looks fucking ridiculous. Put her in a normal costume. She's already 7 feet tall and like stacked. You don't have to make her more sexy. But it is tacky, at the very least, to put those words in the mouths of these children.
I think you've hit on my main criticism with the work of Grant Morrison, and like the reason that I just have less tolerance for their bullshit than most other people, where they will do that sort of vanity thing, where they will hold up a picture of something that is ridiculous to say, isn't this ridiculous? But in doing that, they are actively participating in it. You have El Gaucho, the fiery Latin Batman, in your Batman Inc. It's not commentary. You just have him there.
Yeah. That's absolutely 100% extremely valid criticism. Right. There is a difference between critiquing the thing and just recreating the thing.
Right. So, something we all have to learn, and I wish Grant Morrison had learned it before they got to this point.
Oh my God, same. And it is in stark contrast to, again, the depictions of normal human conversations that that do very well in this particular issue specifically. Like, there's stuff that they're good at, and for whatever reason, they just keep going back to I know it's because they want to push themselves, and specifically push themselves to include perspectives that come outside of like what they know as a human being. But you're not good at it. Right. So stop.
What's the difference between parody and repetition? You need to be pointing out something new here. Yeah. And I don't think that's happening here. I recently reread Showcase number 79 from 1968, the debut of Dolphin, one of the lesser known Aquaman characters. And the entire thing is just these scuba divers with their jaws open over this hot girl that they found in the middle of the ocean. And this could literally be a panel from that. It just doesn't say anything new.
No, I mean, if it's a criticism of the outfit, like, registered, but you're doing it in a way that makes Corey the butt of the joke. Right. And she shouldn't be. She's incredibly beautiful, and also in this very issue of this comic acknowledges extremely powerful and respected by her peers. So why are you disrespecting her as the writer?
That brings us to the setup for our big finale.
Oh my God, it's so good.
We go to the Rocky Mountains.
I'm so excited for this. Please, set
it away,
the scene.
Gita.
Oh, okay, me? Okay. No, you go do it. Please. I think you'd be better at it.
All right. We get to T.O. Morrow's lab. The evil Skeets is hunting down Red Tornado, who keeps repeating 52, 52 over the cover. And Skeets is talking about a map. And Morrow is like, here he comes. This is exactly how they said it would happen. 52 worlds, 52 Morrows, and it all comes down to me. Skeets is demanding a map, and Morrow reveals that he has been baiting Skeets to this exact location for a showdown with Rip Hunter and Booster Gold, which is when Skeets hatches like an egg and reveals his final form.
It's Mr. Mind.
It's Mr. Mind.
It's the evolved form of Mr. Mind, no longer just a weird little caterpillar. Remember that little caterpillar we saw all the way back? All the way back there. Week, yeah. In like the first week or something. Guess what? Now it was in his larval stage.
He's been in Skeets the whole time. He's been using him as an incubator, the same way that like when you'll open up your PS5, you'll find a bunch of cockroaches in there.
Yeah. It was nice and warm inside.
Yeah. And he just like utter props to this design, an incredible design on this evolved Mr. Mind. I saw in the liner notes there was a lot of debate back and forth over whether to keep Mr. Mind's goofy little glasses on him, and they decided ultimately not to. But they just evolved him into this Lovecraftian horror being in this really effective way that looks very
scaly.
It looks very like Alien, you know, H.R. Giger-y.
Yeah. There's a lot of little details. It's a furry insect. The brain is exposed.
He's got those predator mandibles.
Oh God, it's mouth parts. Anytime you have to describe a mouth as having mouth parts, that feels really gross to me.
Yeah,
it's great.
And Rip grabs Booster by the collar, takes him into the time sphere, and tells him we're going back to where this all started. Next in 52, the end.
You can see how easy it is just to turn the page at this point.
Yeah,
like,
I went right to the next issue.
I imagine waiting a week for issue 52 must have felt so difficult.
Yeah. Which brings us to this backup of the origin of the Justice League of America, a team I have some feelings about. Art here by Ivan Reis and Auclair Albert, who are major Justice League and event comic artists. There have been a lot of different origins for the Justice League over the years, so this was actually a really informative backup in that it like actually tells you what the deal with the Justice League is going into this current post-Infinite Crisis state of continuity, because it feels like every 10 years they get a different origin story. And it's something that Mark Waid is still continuing to play with in like his new History of the DC Universe miniseries he's in the middle of right now, where he's condensing everything that's ever happened in DC Comics into one timeline. More power to him.
I mean, good luck.
Yeah. Couldn't be me.
Yeah, absolutely. You couldn't. There's not a number I could imagine where I would want to sit down and do that project. You know,
there's a number I could imagine.
I mean, yes, it's true for you, but for me, it's like, oh my God, I die.
Yeah. I imagine if they came to you with that, you would be coming to me with that.
Yes, I would be like, please actually just give this let me recommend to you someone that could actually do it.
What are your feelings about the Justice League as a team?
I mean, I think it's best expressed in the cartoon Justice League Unlimited.
Right.
Right. That to me is the definitive take on what the Justice League is and should be. It is this beautiful network of people who work together to solve crises all over the globe. And you can be deputized as part of the Justice League as long as you fucking believe in doing what's right.
I think the problem most people have when they approach the Justice League, when it goes wrong, is trying to approach it from the idea of them being like a family, which I don't think works because...
No. They're weird coworkers.
It's their office. They're firefighters together. They go in for an emergency. This isn't the Avengers where they were all kind of designed by the same people to hang out with each other. Batman and Superman were never supposed to coexist in the same world. When they are hanging out, it means it has gone so bad that they need to be joining forces.
Absolutely. Yeah. I like Unlimited because that is so explicitly an office space, the Watchtower. They're all walking around with styrofoam cups of shitty coffee and talking about, well, this happened on my side in the area that I usually patrol. Holy shit, that's the same guy that you were fighting last week. And they're putting together the pieces of these puzzles in order to fight evil more like effectively. But they don't sleep there. It reminds me a little bit of I also love, and my husband loves, Jeff Tweedy and Wilco. Me and my husband love Wilco. And David read the biography of Jeff Tweedy that came out, where he was like, you know, when I was building the studio for us to record a new album, I included like a bedroom with like beds in it because I watched the Monkees when I was younger and I imagined us all living in the same house like the Monkees to record this album. But it turned out my bandmates didn't see it that way. They are not all living in the Watchtower. This is a place they stop by in the midst of their actual job. It's a place where they can pool resources so they can work together. But they're not all friends. Right. There's people in the office that you fucking despise, but you have to work with them because it's a unified goal. It's more like a union than it is like a family.
And that, I think, is the secret to why the Justice League International run is so beloved. Because it got that, like, these people do, like, they stand for the same things, but they don't necessarily like each other. Some of them do, but they have their little cliques and they have their fights. And nobody really wants to hang out with Guy Gardner, but he's useful. And that's something that James Gunn really gets across in that Superman movie.
Yeah, I think that's really, really true. Man, I hope that he does Justice League International because I think he's got the right idea behind it.
Feels like it's inevitable.
I think if you introduce Guy Gardner, it's probably going to happen.
I knew it was going to happen when we watched that Blue Beetle movie because it felt like that end tag of Ted Kord is still alive is specifically him being like, I want to do Justice League International, man. We can't get rid of Ted.
Man, I'm so happy that Zolo is going to be part of the new DC universe. He deserves it. He really deserves it. He's such a good martial artist and such a you just really feel for him when you see him on the screen.
God,
he's my boy, my baby boy.
It's just been so good. We are really in a golden age for live action DC stuff. I'm really enjoying what we're doing right now.
You know, if I was like 10 years younger and thought about these things in the same way, there is definitely an essay to be written about how the militarized, like US government adjacent MCU is making way for the legacy based and more feelings based expression of what the DC universe is more like rooted in. But I'm too sleepy to write those essays now. Someone else should write it.
What was your favorite part of this issue?
God, my favorite part of this issue. I think it's the slow motion Ellen Baker turnaround. Like that initial reuniting scene to me. It's just special. And I just like seeing, like, this feels like why Grant Morrison wanted to write Animal Man more than anything else. Is these scenes of normal suburban California family that sometimes, you know, they're so mundane, but every once in a while they cross paths with the truly spectacular. It's special stuff. And not a lot of writers are good at this, but Morrison is.
I just really like that double page splash of all the heroes showing up at the statues. And this time the Trinity is here, but kind of keeping a low profile.
Yeah, I like that too.
I like that as sort of a deference to the fact that, like, these guys are heroes and they did keep the world running and they don't necessarily need us, but we're here and we're going to be working together in the future. And that's what Brad Meltzer's Justice League run is. I think that sets it up really nicely. You got anything for the Blackboard?
And I mean, we're running out of stuff in the Blackboard to talk about. Many of the mysteries are finally being uncovered. I do wonder what is the kind of schism that happens in the Dolphin Pope church now that the Pope Dolphin is dead? Like, is there you know, is it like the schism between the Catholics and the Protestants? Like, what's happening here?
Lobo does get involved in religion a lot more than you'd think. I probably told the story where Keith Giffen quit working on Lobo because DC wouldn't let him do an issue where he met Jesus.
Sorry. They were wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my favorite Keith Giffen stories. They wanted him to do a Lobo ongoing, and he said, "I'll do it, but the moment I do something that you tell me I can't do, that's the end of the book." And he got 4 issues in, and then he was like, "And then Lobo meets Jesus." Like, we can't do that. All right, I'm off the book.
Yep. I mean, way to call their fucking bluff, right?
Yeah. So yeah, Lobo's a character who is infamously immortal because he has been banned from both heaven and hell for both not wanting him there. There's no way to deal with him, and he's just going to keep kicking God's asses. I can't believe we've never had like DC copying Deadpool's homework and going like Lobo frags the DC universe or something.
Yeah, I mean, they should have. DC's is so clearly a response to Marvel Zombies that it feels like they could just do it if they wanted to.
Yeah, the Absolute line is a ripoff of the Ultimate line. These guys have been copying each other's homework forever.
I'm so glad the Absolute line is good. And the thing is, I really like the current Ultimate line, but I think the Absolute line is kind of better.
Yeah,
we may discuss this in the future.
This may be the topic of a future bonus ep. Keep your eyes on the feed and give your money to aftermath.site, where for just a few dollars a month, you'll get to hear us talking about shit like the Absolute Comics or the Superman movie, or I don't know, probably season 2 of Peacemaker. I'd love to do that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. I got nothing for the Blackboard this week. I've left it all on the court.
You know all of DC secrets is the thing.
Yeah. I'm here to answer questions. When I ask questions, I get the answers on my own time. I can't wait on them. I don't know. Let's talk about like a Teen Titans lineup, because they are cycling through these heroes. Like, how do you put a team? Like, I feel like since Marv Wolfman and George Perez's new Teen Titans run, we have been stuck in this rut where every single run on Teen Titans has to defer back to that run or just be completely forgotten. And like, I don't like the Teen Titans comic right now is Teen Titans Go. There is no just like regular Teen Titans comic right now. And I'm wondering how you fix that. Like, how do you make Teen Titans for Gen Z?
That's a good fucking question, right?
Or I guess Gen Alpha at this point?
The Young Justice to Teen Titans transition that resulted in this run that I genuinely don't like. Right. Except for when they go to the dark future. I always like a dark future, like arc. I always think that's fun. But that was an attempt to at least move forward from Teen Titans being defined by Dick Grayson and Garfield and Raven and Starfire. They were trying, and it works in that these characters that were in the Teen Titans were able to transition out of that and like become other kinds of heroes with their own books and working with other people. But it didn't work in that no one really liked or wanted the team that replaced them. And I think that is the big problem. Young Justice was set up to be the new Teen Titans, but they lost all the things that made them fun to read in that transition because they became really sad. What you need is the melodramatic teen drama energy of the Marv Wolfman Titans, but with like a genuine, authentic voice that wants teenagers to like them. It has to be a book for teenagers, not for adults that kind of like teen dramas.
Yeah, I think what the original 2003 cartoon Teen Titans really gets right is that when you go back and actually watch it, as I did a couple of years ago, it's like 75-80% joke 'em up silly times. And there are just like a few episodes per season that go really deep into like who these guys are and what they deal with. And I feel like that's also what Peter David kind of dealt with in his run on Young. You got to get the formula right. They have to be people that are your friends who you want to hang out with before you have all the drama happen to them.
Yes, absolutely. I've been rewatching Smallville recently.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, the Superman movie, what it made me want to engage with in terms of Superman media was Smallville. I don't know why.
No, that 100% makes sense. I feel like that same relationship between Clark and Lex is very present in both of those works.
There's no heterosexual reason for why Lex Luthor is hanging out with all these high schoolers. When my husband found out that Lex in the show is not supposed to be a teenager, he was like, what?
Right.
Why is he hanging out the high school all the time then? Michael Rosenbaum is a fantastic Lex. Just really, really great.
I don't know if you've ever listened to his podcast, but it's incredible. He's just really, really good, especially when he has people from Smallville on, people like from other, like I was really grieving when we lost Kevin Conroy a few years ago because he was so important to me. And just like kind of what helped me come to terms with it was listening to his interview that he did with Kevin Conroy on his podcast. And just it put a lot of things into perspective for me about his entire career and what he got out of it. And I would recommend that to everybody. Just a great guy.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
It's so sick. But yeah, the thing about Smallville is that it first establishes that these characters are friends. And it takes a lot of effort to do that. And then in the back half of that first season of Smallville, you start to introduce little conflicts within that friendship group. Chloe is insanely jealous of Lana because she's in love with Clark too. Like that kind of stuff.
How am I going to introduce him to Nexium when Lana's always around?
Yeah, exactly.
Clark, I've got this improv group I want to bring you to.
God, I love how stone cold stupid Clark is in this show also. He just comes off as a guy with rocks for brains. The episode where he
Superman 25, same guy.
They introduce there's an episode where he loses his powers for a couple of days and he's like, he realizes very quickly that it's just like really hard to be naturally gifted at all the things he does when you don't have superpowers.
Like when we saw in the first couple trailers of Superman that LexCorp was being called Luthor Corp in this, I assumed it was going to be getting into like daddy's money, generational wealth. But having seen it, I think it was just James Gunn signposting what his influences are, and that's Smallville.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that David Corenswet also said that his first Superman was Tom Welling, who I think is a very good Clark. Like, he's so beautiful.
That was Christopher Reeve's choice to replace him in the movies. He's like, if you're going to make new Superman movies, why not just cast Tom Welling? He's perfect.
Tom Welling, his face, the camera fucking loves it. And he just has this innocence to him. He looks both perfectly innocent and also like perfectly kind. There is absolutely something Christ-like about what he looks like on camera.
It's my opinion that I don't think Superman has ever been miscast. I think every live-action Superman we've ever had was a very capable Superman who, with the right script and direction, could have been great. Brandon Routh could have been great. Henry Cavill, for sure, could have been great. They just didn't have the material present to them.
Yeah. Corenswet got very lucky. Tom Welling got very lucky. Yes. You know, the both of them did. You know, I think you're right. Cavill, I am more critical of just because I think Superman should be played by an American.
Yes,
that's
I agree.
Just how I feel.
The same way that like Constantine should never be played by an American.
Yeah, you know, the Constantine movie is a great movie about some guy who also coincidentally is named John Constantine, you know?
Yeah. No, that movie is about Constantine.
Yes, exactly.
If he's American, he's Constantine. If he's British, he's Constantine.
I'm going to come up with a fuck-ass rhyme for this.
Yes. If it's a small bean, it's Constantine. If, I don't know. We'll figure it out. We've got some letters here from our listeners who write into us for this Asking the Question segment at 52mailbag@gmail.com. We've got a few questions here. Our first is from Bridget, who says, Dear expert, thank you for your wonderful podcast. It drives me crazy when you say got him, but you did. I am now caught up with the podcast, eagerly awaiting the next episode and cycling through 3 older runs and 1 or 2 current titles in the meantime. So when I was at the park the other day and a friend said, what are you reading? And I said, comics. And he said, which comics? He kind of uncorked me and I went into the whole thing about 52 as an on-ramp to enjoying DC's deep roster of weirdos, regurgitating everything I've heard from you, my para-mentors in fandom. Welcome, Bridget. That is exactly my life. This was all lovely. My friend intentionally got me to geek out like this, and I checked in with him to make sure I wasn't being a bad conversation partner. Extremely autism-coded go off. But then a complete stranger on a blanket right in front of us started joining in on the conversation. It turns out they used to run a comics shop back in the day when 52 was being published, and they had their own opinions. It was nice to talk to someone, but I wasn't sure how great I felt about it afterwards. Sometimes it felt like I was talking about a new and exciting experience, and then being well-actually'd in response. But I have to admit that I was just holding forth on my own until then, at the willing invitation of my friend. So my question is, how can I be a good comics fan? And how do I deal with other enthusiastic people who sometimes fit the stereotype so precisely? Thanks again for the wonderful podcast. Your work is truly a shining example of effective cultural criticism, making my world a little bigger and weirder with each listen.
That's such a wonderful compliment. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Bridget. So how do you be a good comic fan, Gita?
The thing is, I mean, to me, this just sounds like a normal interaction, right? Yeah. To me, I mean, I have to say, like, I'm a neurodivergent person, and I know that a lot of my conversations with my friends who are also often neurodivergent are just 2 people monologuing at each other. In fact, that's what I love about talking to my husband, where he'll sit down.
This podcast is.
I mean, yes, you know, like, my whole thing is if I'm going to monologue, then I have to allow you to monologue also.
Yeah.
So, and if you disagree with me, I have to accept that disagreement and be like, thank you for telling me how you feel. I disagree, but I'm really glad you told me that. Because usually what people just want is to feel heard.
It sounds like you were perfect in that situation.
Yeah.
And who was the person who was being a jerk was the person next to you. And it is not on you to adjust their behavior. It is on them to adjust their behavior. So I would say the way to be a good comics fan is to like appreciate that comics are so vast that there will always be stuff you don't know about that other people do. and that
Yeah.
there are things you know that other people don't, and you should accept that with humility, that this is an exchange of information.
Yes.
And that and opinion and perspective, and everyone else's are as valuable as yours, and even more so if you haven't heard that opinion before.
Yeah, like I was, man, this interaction has bothered me since it first happened, which I think is more of a problem with me than like the other person that it was talking about. I was at like an event somewhere, and a friend of a friend really didn't like the Superman movie, and I thought we were going to have a conversation where he said what he didn't like about it and I said what I liked about it, and then we both agreed to disagree. But he really wanted to get into the nitty gritty of his complaints, and I just wasn't interested in having that conversation. I think that is like more of a really frustrating way to interact about media that you both like or dislike, where I was kept saying, like, I understand why you don't like it. I just don't feel that way, well, et cetera, et cetera. And this guy really didn't want to let it go. It sounds like you didn't do that, though. You accepted that someone disagreed with you, and then you listened to them politely. And that's just the end of the interaction. If you monologued a little bit, don't feel bad. You were excited. Like, that's totally forgivable.
Absolutely. You have nothing to be ashamed about. This was, sounds to me like a wonderful day in the park.
Yeah.
Our next question comes from John, who says, hello, professional experts. I've been loving this podcast since day one, and I got to a point where I was refreshing the podcast app, waiting for it to drop. While listening to your recommendations, I bought Morrison's Animal Man run, which is an incredible and hard to read sometimes because it talks about political issues that are still a problem or got worse in the past 40 years. I also purchased the Superman Legacy Collection. Awesome, mostly because of your discussion about a book or two in it. So here's the question. Do you have a short list of a new comic run for the next podcast? I feel like Animal Man has come up so much, but hopefully not Swamp Thing, because then I'll have to buy another comic.
I mean, we've talked about a couple of things. I have to say, we don't know whether or not there will be a follow-up to this. If not, if it happens, it may not be immediately.
Yeah.
We loved doing this project, and we're so happy that we did it. If we had the opportunity to do another podcast, I was thinking about this last night. The two things that we've said are Blackest Night, because I've been rereading Blackest Night, and it comes like chronologically, like right after all the events that happened in 52 and Final Crisis, or DC 1 Million, which I just fucking love. Yeah. Man, DC 1 Million is so good.
DC 1 Million is, I think, the weirder choice, but but Blackest Night, I think, is the one that I feel like is more important in terms of the evolution history of comics.
Yeah, the evolution of DC comics in particular.
So it depends how weird you want to get, as opposed to how like culturally significant you want to get. I feel like there are benefits to both, but that's all theoretical. Right now, we're just proud of the fact that we're rounding the horn on doing this 52-issue series. I'm
so proud of us.
I know. Right? This was not easy, but I'm so excited about the fact that we like it's a little just a little too early to start patting ourselves on the back. We still got more work to go, but I keep thinking about that Shabbat dinner where we were talking, where you told me about your podcast idea, and we just could not stop talking about this show. And you just like texted me the next week, later that weekend, to be like, okay, so we have to do this show together.
Yeah, no, it was really special.
Yeah, I'm so glad we got here.
Me too.
I will say read Swamp Thing, because like whether or not we cover it, it's so good.
It's good. It's worth it. It's worth it. And it's also literally happening concurrently with the Animal Man run. So you are dropping into a moment of time. They're good complements to each other. One thing I like about DC 1 Million is that you are also just getting a snapshot of what DC was like at that time, because it was an event that touched basically every single comic that was running at that time. So you just get to hop into and see just like a bird's eye view of what DC was doing then.
Right. Whereas everything Blackest Night was tying into were these like tried and true historical concepts. What's interesting about DC 1 Million is that it brings in stuff like Hitman and Young Heroes in Love, and just like stuff that has completely vanished from the conversation.
Yeah. Kinds of books that they used to produce, but in the post-Marvel universe that we live in, don't really exist anymore.
Yeah. Just stuff to look into. We'll talk about it. Our last question this week is from Luca. He says, love the pod. You guys rock. Hi, Alex and Gita. What do you think about the sidekick being evil twist happening so much in this comic? Sobek and Skeets are clear-cut cases, but even Dr. Fate's helmet kind of hit the same beat for me. It didn't really bother me or take anything away from the comic, but I couldn't get it out of my head as I kept listening to your podcast. Is it just an easier way to lead people off the track, or do you think this was intentional in some way? Thank you as always for your wonderful podcast.
I mean, I think before Jason coming back to life, this was not a beat that the DC in general hit as hard. And DC Comics expert Alex Jaffe can correct me.
No, I think you're right here. Yeah,
I think it is about the time and place for this comic. So the Skeets thing really felt truly, Skeets is Booster Gold's only fan, right?
Yeah.
So if you've been reading Booster Gold up until this point, it did feel really impossible to predict that, because if there's only ever been one person in Booster's corner, and it's always been Steve. The Sobek thing, I think, also is just that was edgier than comics got at this time. After Jason coming back to life, which happened around not long after 52 ended, it did feel like the evil sidekick thing started to become more and more popular. Mm-hmm. I don't know. That's my take on it, essentially, that this was just untested territory, so that it felt novel when it came out. Maybe with a little bit more distance from it, it feels less novel.
No, 2005 was really the tipping point for this, which was the year before this, with again, with the parity between two companies, Under the Hood and Captain America Winter Soldier happening at practically the same time.
Yeah. And that before then, the saying was, there's only 3 characters that stay dead: Uncle Ben, Bucky, and Jason Todd.
Which I never thought was fair, because I think a backstory death is not equivalent to a main story death. If somebody dies in your origin story, that's not the same thing. I
think that's true, actually.
Yeah.
Now you put it that way, yeah, that makes sense. What's your favorite characteristic of Uncle Ben? That's an old man who's dead.
Right. I can't believe they killed off Uncle Ben. Whose stupid idea was that? This beloved storied character. He was so important to Spider-Man. Yeah. That's why he's the one who's still dead. But then again, Thomas Wayne was an important backstory death, and we've gotten a bunch of stories about Thomas Wayne being around.
I actually tried to read The Court of Owls, Scott Snyder, because I like Absolute Batman and think it's fun and great.
Yeah.
I was maybe I was wrong about The Court of Owls. Maybe I should read it. And I read the first arc on it. I'm just this ancient conspiracy stuff just doesn't make sense. It's just not good. You did a bad job setting it up.
I will say, I think Court of Owls makes a lot more sense when you put it in the context that Scott Snyder originally wrote it to be a Dick Grayson Batman story.
Oh.
And then the New 52 happened.
That makes so much more sense. Yeah. And it would have been a better book, I think, because Dick uncovering Bruce's past makes, and the past of his family, and the past, a city that he didn't grow up in. He's not a historical son of Gotham. That is more interesting to me.
Him discovering all the things that Batman never told him about.
Yes.
Right.
Man, that would have been so much better, because there's this scene, I knew I wasn't going to like it, in the first issue, where they have that ridiculous nursery rhyme that doesn't even fucking scan.
Oh my God. I have so much to say about this.
Please tell me.
Oh God. DC put out this line of frankly horrible direct-to-video animated movies that kind of adapted the major story beats of the New 52. And one of them was this Court of Owls semi-adaptation. And it was written by J.M. DeMatteis. And the one thing that I give him credit for forever is that he went back and fixed the scansion of that original rhyme so that it actually worked. It's
okay,
so
let me
bad.
Look it up, because it's so
bad. And then
bad.
Scott Snyder again has to in his Justice League run write a new Lantern Oath for a Lantern Corps he created. Again, the dude does not know how to write a poem. It's fine that you don't know how to write a poem. Just don't write them then.
Yeah, I mean that's okay. Here's the rhyme. Beware the Court of Owls that watches all the time, ruling Gotham from a shadowy perch behind granite and lime. They watch you at your hearth, they watch you in your bed. Speak not a whispered word of them, or they'll send the talon for your head. You're meant to believe that children say this on the playground, that this is a nursery rhyme. It's hard to say. It's literally just difficult to say. Come on.
Here's the fixed one that James DeMatteis does. It's slightly different, but it works so much better in the little tweaks he makes. Beware the court of owls that watches all the time, gazing from the shadows behind cement and lime. They see you at your hearth. They see you in your bed. Beware, take care, or they will send a talon for your head. That's so much better.
That's so much better because it's simpler. It's just much simpler, and the rhyme scheme isn't so fucked.
Yeah. The emphasis on the words is in the right place. You're not like forcing granite in there.
The granite part was the absolute worst.
Yeah.
God.
Nails on a chalkboard. Just props to JM there. And yeah, I think that's it. I do have a thing that I've been like kind of noodling on, while you've been monologuing, I've been spacing out, working on a puzzle. And I've been hoping that like I'm coming clean with you because I need to come to you. I need your help in this moment because a lot of these puzzles I'm usually able to solve on my own, but sometimes there's like a color component, and because I'm colorblind, it doesn't really match up. So I feel like kind of a rebus thing where I've reduced it to a few letters in a color. I see the letter R, and letter U, and the letter E. And right in the middle there's just like a splotch that I can't recognize. And
I see. Yeah. So that's the colors are they're becoming
like
the same color.
Something E.
Let me think about this. I'm really not sure. When you put me on the spot, these word games are like really difficult for me. That's why I'm bad at stuff like Wordle. It's like, I forget that there are 5-letter words when I look at a Wordle board. I'm just like, what the fuck is happening? Let me think. Are you something E?
Are you Bluey? Are they asking me if I'm the character Bluey?
I don't think you are, because that's a child and a dog.
I'm Bluey. No. I feel like that would be a bad riddle.
It's not Bluey, because that's too many words. No. Let's start. Oh my God. Wait, I think I have it.
Oh, yeah?
Are you ready?
God damn, I think that's it. Woo!
52 Pickup is an Aftermath production created by Gita Jackson and Alex Jaffe and edited by Esper Quim with original music by John Aaron. Hosting for 52 Pickup is provided by Insert Credit. The views and opinions expressed on this show are solely those of the show's personalities and do not reflect those of DC Entertainment or Warner Brothers. Please rate and review our show wherever you can and send your questions and comments to 52mailbag@gmail.com. Never stop reading comics.